Ah, the good old shonen trope of resolving an issue by standing over and over again. I always love that one. It's like, yeah, don't talk through the situation. Yuji's not good at talking through conflict. Just I stand up a bunch, and the guy eventually goes, "Oh, okay, I trust you. Let's get together." I mean, I get that Yuji is broken. I get this whole idea of him seeing himself as a cog. Again, I think that's a lot to do with the fact that he's blaming himself for so many deaths. And so, as we've seen with the opening of this season, he's literally just turned into a killing machine. His whole focus is just to kill these things. And that seems to come across here. I can't tell you I have some passion, because I'm broken. So all I can really tell you is that I'm a cog in this system. My senpai said that you're needed, and if you need something, this is what I can give you. I'm just going to stand here until hopefully you can finally accept me or whatever. And that eventually, yes, comes across to Hakari. There's that passion. Well, technically, Kirara had to say, hey, he got you all like worked up. Isn't that good enough? Yeah, passion doesn't lie. It's a passion from a different sense here. His passion for being a cog essentially is what really sets off Hakari. Okay, fine, Lin. I'll join you, little kid. Kohai, his Kohai right here that needs help. But yeah, overall, really solid episode. I think a lot of it has to do with like what Kirara ended up bringing up during their fight. That kind of stuff is sort of interesting. The idea of them going against the upper brass, techniques and whatnot, and how they view them. The fight overall was okay. Like, it had some really good shots in there, but it also had a lot of really kind of shots. This felt like I will say, like, overall, this episode felt like one of the lower in priority for the production line. When they were making this entire season, you had a lot of great work and a lot of team members and staffers put onto this one episode. This one felt like it had the least, because there was a lot of shot that just felt awkward. Like, the transitions between the shots felt awkward. There was some good shots, though, like with the, Demon Wolf and whatnot, being thrown around and everything. But getting the episode proper, though, opening up the episode, we had them, of course, trying to sneak in there, end up running into Kirara, and then at that point, having to figure out what Kirara's ability is. And it seems to all stem around constellations. And whatever they sort of mark allows them to be able to choose what can be repelled or pulled in. And it all seems to stem around the placement of the stars from the Earth, like their distance from the Earth, even though it looks like it's flat, it's the distance from the Earth itself. And they have to, I don't know how Megami figured this out. This is the part that I don't get. Like, I get the whole constellation thing and all that kind of stuff, but I don't get the whole, like, we have to touch them in a certain order. It probably just stems from the idea of just understanding techniques and how they always seem to have some sort of, method to them. There's a method to how the system itself works. And so he's just assuming and making something out of, okay, if it's constellations, there got to be an order in which we can sort of get through them in order to overcome it. There has to be a flaw. There has to be a break in that armor that we can get through. So he has to assume something, and it end up working out. So they end up finding out that, yes, this thing has 5 points and it has to be touched in a certain order. It was a little different in the anime than it was in the manga, because I went and read through the manga right after I watched the episode. And I actually liked what they did in the anime because, of course, they're trying to figure out where it is. And at some point, there's an indication based on something falling on an object and it being repelled. And he figures out, okay, it's got to be some object here. It's potentially going to have cursed energy because the objects have to have cursed energy in it for them to be marked. And so let's check that out. Okay, it's this object over here. In the anime, he gives Panda the bunny, and then Panda throws the bunny down to go behind Kirara. And I was like, that was really cool. I actually liked that in the episode, and then kind of find out, unless I missed it, there's not even a panel for that. Like, Megami has to go over there and touch it himself. That's how he ends up touching it. He doesn't use, again, the bunny through proxy to touch it, which, again, they're seen as the same object, just like how the rules in this technique is that they're the same object. Their abilities, their techniques, their cursed energy, and their physical self is the same object. That would be the, equal right there. So technically the bunny touching the object is equal. So I thought it was actually really cool, and I get to find out that it's not even in the manga. It's like, okay, that was all right. Him running over there and touching it's, I guess, cool too. I guess that's cool too. I guess I didn't really, want to go with that much detail with the manga, but anyways, yes, they end up touching that. I did like what he ended up using and employing the dog, though. Having the dog sort of stay behind an object so that the force can't be pulling them until eventually something's being pulled between them, and it's Kirara. And having the dog end up running into Kirara. I thought that was actually a really cool little way of kind of, again, getting around the technique and taking him down. Like I said earlier, one of the cool, interesting things that happened during the fight was them trying to ask Kirara for help. And they're like, no, it ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. You're with Jujutsu High. We don't have anything to do with it. No, we're not with Jujutsu High. We're not with them. But we kind of find out that the reason why Hakari left, or at least they were kicked out, is the fact that Hakari had a fight with the big brass, the big uppers. What it seems like I'm getting out of this is that as, technology and everything sort of keeps progressing, obviously there will be new techniques that will be birthed. And they even bring up the idea of VHS and then bringing up, cursed videos. The whole idea of like Ring or whatever with this like VHS that you put in and watch it and it'll come out and kill you, that kind of stuff. They're actually taking that whole story there and incorporating it into this world as being something that would have been a cursed technique, which I thought was actually kind of funny. But it makes sense. Having, technologies and whatnot evolve what we use. I mean, we've seen it in the series. We've freaking seen mechas. We've seen mechas, okay? We've seen a lot of things that are more for like things that somebody 400 years ago would have never imagined or be able to picture. And it seems like Hakari is one of those cases. He's an individual that has some sort of technique that's not seen as like old school. Old school is something that Nobara had. The idea of having the stakes and hammering them. That's what they see as like should be kept to. Again, to the name conservatism, keeping to some sort of standard that we're used to and that is, old school. But Hakari apparently was kicked out because his technique was seen as something like this. Something that's outside of the norms and new age or whatever. And I'm guessing that's the whole closing door thing? Question mark? Like, it doesn't seem like something that's utilizing new technology or anything like that. It's just doors closing. But again, it's not to like this, it's not in their book. Like, we've never seen this before. It's weird. We don't want this. But I also kind of wonder about this whole thing here and why these individuals would want to, or the high brass, would want to keep this stuff from, again, evolving. Keep new techniques from being created based on technologies and whatnot. My assumption is because it's unheard of. It's unknown. It's the unknowns. Really, it's the unknowns that they don't like. They don't like somebody creating something, say, a curse technique from an iPad. They don't understand how it works. They don't know how powerful it can be, and thus they don't like it because they can't control it. Whereas, again, going back to the example to give is Nobara, that's something they can understand, and thus it's easy to sort of counter. We know what she's going to end up doing with that technique. We know how to sort of get around it. Yes, she can technically evolve it in some way, make it use some special technique or something like that, but at its core, they know what it does. Whereas an iPad or something like that, they don't understand it. They don't know what its potential could be. That sort of thought process there is sort of interesting to me, is, again, the old folks not liking things that they can't understand and thus don't know what its potentials could be and having a fear of that. And that sort of being covered up by just regulations. No, it's just conservatism. It's just trying to keep to the old. It's not that we're afraid of it. We just don't want it to appear. We don't want to have to deal with this thing. It's too dangerous, whatever. Cool stuff. Maybe that little brief shot that we got of Kenji using his ability, maybe that was just a brief shot. Maybe there is something else to his technique that we'll get into that is, again, more new age that they wouldn't like. But again, that seems to be the reason why they were kicked out, is that he got an argument with them over that. And apparently that was the reason why they lost to him too, because they weren't accepting this new technology, these new techniques and whatnot that he's employing now. But that's okay because they didn't have to, because they have Gojo. Gojo will clean up their messes. Oh, by the way, Gojo's sealed away, so that's why we need your help. Doesn't believe us all. Doesn't believe it us all. There ain't no way that Gojo's been sealed away. But yeah, after that fight, Yuji and Hakari come busting out the door, and yeah, Hakari's just beating the crap out of Yuji over and over again. And again, Yuji sticking to the idea that I have to prove myself to him. I have to just take his hits, keep standing. It's really all you can really do. Again, I can see this just because Yuji is not very good at communicating. At the same time, I would argue that Hakari is not going to be somebody that could be talked into this stuff. If Yuji had the perfect words to say that this whole thing's going down with this, Jujutsu terrorism attack that's happening right now, we badly need your help because the stake of humankind is at, play here. It could be all lost. I think Hakari would still be like, but what's the passion? I joked about it at the end of the last episode, but it's true. It seems like this guy is just obsessed with passion. This is the thing that kind of drives him. And so would that even help? But again, like I said earlier, Yuji's character is very broken. And so I can see a lot of this stuff being his mindset. I can't really tell you something of passion. I can't tell you that I want this or that. And yeah, I can't give you a reason for putting your life at risk other than to say that I'm here. I'm a cog of this system. I am just here to kill cursed spirits. But thankfully, Kirara speaks up and shows Hakari that he's really burned up right now. He's got that passion going. He's looking just like he was way back when we were at school and he was taking care of, the kohais and whatnot. He was a cute little end, but yeah, that all comes to the new rule. Somebody's already got a new rule, what technically, since they were talking earlier, it's been about a day at this point, I think. I don't know, I'm kind of losing track of time right now, but I think a day has pretty much run at this point because they were wanting to get the stuff done within the day, and this is now nighttime. But yeah, within a day, we already have somebody has created a new rule, which is Hajime Kashimo. Hajime has created Rule 9. Players shall be able to view the following information on other players: name, points, number of rules added, and current colony. It was funny because I seen that and I'm like, okay, I could see somebody. I just thought when I first seen the rule, I'm like, this is going to be somebody that's just killing for fun and they're like, whatever, let's make a rule. I don't care. Let's just make a rule. They're just like throwing stuff out there. even to like this scene with Hajime, he's like, he kills somebody and he's walking away and this thing's like, hey, why don't you spend your points? And I could just totally see him like, shut up. I'm busy killing people. But it makes sense as we see in their perspective why they wanted these particular roles. And it's because, one, they're desperately looking for Sukuna. Two, they just want to fight tough things. And the people in this world are much weaker than it was 400 years ago. And they specifically want to know who's the strongest. Who's the strongest? The one with the most points. Oh, by the way, if they spend points to make rules, then obviously it's going to show less. So I need to know that as well. I'll need to know how many points to add to their total points. After seeing his perspective, it kind of makes more sense as to why they want that. Now, yes, I kind of question why they need to know their names. To what I was kind of questioning before, are these individuals that are coming forward, do they have the appearance of who they once were, or are they inside of a body that's going to have a different appearance? Like they were talking about that angel one, I forget the name of the individual they were talking about needing to talk to in order to get to Gojo. There's this like angel looking individual. Are they going to look like that? Or are they going to look like, again, to my random theory, is it going to look like Sumiki? Is it just going to be inside of Sumiki? So that's all for me to say. Then at that point, it's probably important for them to have their name as well, because then they'll know if there's some sort of historic figure that is extremely powerful. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode overall. By the way, I did like when Kirara actually just completely let it show on their face. Like, absolute worst poker face. Like, Megumi immediately picks up on it. Yeah, I guess we called it. Called it right. It was a Southern Cross. Oh, crap, it's showing on my face. That was kind of dorky. I do like Kirara's character. I really do. Really, really fun little moments. Anyways, that's my thoughts on the episode overall. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. If you like this content and want to support channel more, come remember. Until next time, you'll take care.